Everyone and welcome. I am Chaitanya. You're watching Chai with Chaitanya. This is a place where I talk about books, movies, and fandom. And today I'm here to talk about my recent disappointing reads. And I don't think I've ever done this sort of a video before, but I think recently I have been reading only bad books or average books. And I think that people need to, know about average books as much as they should know about good books because that's just a way in which how you can make a decision for what you want to read next, because I definitely look up reviews before going into a certain book until unless I know of the author or I'm very sure of what I'm heading into. Before we go ahead, I hope you have subscribed. If you haven't, then please consider doing so. It really helps me grow and reach out to more people. The first book that I want to talk about is The Princess Trap by Talia Hibert. Now, I got this book because I saw that it has a bisexual male representation, and that was something that really caught my eye. Also because Talia Hibert has recently been getting a lot of popularity because of a Brown Sisters trilogy, something that I haven't read. So I went into this expecting and hoping that I would get to see a good bisexual male representation, but it is unfortunate to say that I did not really see a lot of it, and that is to say that I was already aware that story does not really deal with an MMM relationship, but it has the bisexual prince Ruben, who is going to be in a relationship with Cherry, who's an oversized person of color. And while I did see that why this would have appealed to a lot of people because it's very smutty and it has a lot of steamy content in it, it did not really speak to me personally because I felt that a lot of this book was just that. It was just smutty. And I felt that the story did not really had enough layers or enough nuance for me to actually engage and enjoy it as much as I thought that I would. In terms of the bisexual representation, I actually couldn't really spot it as much as I thought I would have been able to, because there's just one or two places where it's mentioned in the passing, and it's not really something that you get to see very actively. So anybody who tells you that read this book because it has a bisexual prince, then I think you should skip it because it actually would give you nothing. But if you are somebody who's looking forward to which has BDSM, which is not problematic in the sense that 50 Shades of Grey made it, then this book might just be the one for you. But I personally did not enjoy it and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. The book that I have on my list is We Contain Multitudes by Sarah Henstra, and this was one of my most anticipated reads in the sense that I wanted to read this ever since I saw the cover of this book on Goodreads, and I instantly added it to my to reads. But sadly this book is anything but bearable. I did not even finish this book. I had to DNF it because it was that bad, and the reason why it was that bad was because of the fact that it's written in a way where it doesn't feel that you're reading characters who are young adults. And don't take me wrong, this book is structured in a way where two boys start writing letters to each other because of what their English teacher has in place for an assignment. Through that they sort of become pen pals who write more often than what they are expected to, because they sort of become friends, and we just sort of go from there. The problem that I have with this book is the way in which the voices of these characters sounded to me. Personally, I think that it has been made very flowery and very very sophisticated, in the sense that it did not really required it to be. I mean, I have never asked kids who would talk like that, and even if they do, then they definitely wouldn't be from our generation. They have to be from the past. And because of the fact that this book isn't really a historical YA, so I can't really give that benefit of doubt to this book. I really wanted to love this, but I couldn't, and I read like the first 50 pages and I still did not like it, so I ended up DNFing it. I do not really give ratings to DNF books, but if you had to ask me, then I gave it a 1 out of 5 stars. So yes. The book that I want to talk about is May the Best Man Win by Z.R. Ellor. Now, I had the opportunity to read an early proof copy of this book through NetGalley, and I was very much hyped for this book because of, one, look at the cover. Second, the blurb made it sound like it's the kind of rom-com that we all live for, and that is to say that Jeremy, who is a trans boy, was supposed to win win the homecoming so that people around him started to finally see him as a guy and not as a girl who transitioned into a boy. On the other hand, we had Lucas's character, who is autistic, and he is the quarterback on the football team, and he is trying to win over his family, who is right now grieving the loss of his elder brother, who was the perfect son in their eyes. The twist in the book is that Jeremy and Lucas used to date before Jeremy went ahead and transitioned and Lucas's elder brother passed away. Now both these boys sort of come together to compete against one another for the homecoming title, and through that they also fall in love. So this is also an enemies to lovers. Now the main problem that I had with this book was that it's very much mismarketed. I do not really appreciate that because of the fact that I am a person who has studied marketing and communications, and the fact that you cannot tell me that you are giving me a rom-com when it isn't a rom-com at all. And this is true for this book. The blurb, the cover, and everything else, even the marketing strategies that were adopted by the publishers and the author, or whatever, you know, the people connected with this book, felt as if that this is supposed to be a rom-com, but this is anything but a rom-com. I mean, I was waiting for the cute, fluffy, adorable stuff to happen, but instead it was just very, very difficult and dark things that it kept dealing right one after the another. And don't take me wrong, I'm all in for all of those difficult things in a rom-com, but it has to be a rom-com at the end of the day. From the fact that both the characters in here were also very annoying, in the sense that I found Jeremy's character to be really unlikable, and he was very annoying. Like, I understand that, you know, being trans has its own problem, and it comes with a lot of you know, you dealing with the society and you trying to come in terms with how you see yourself versus how everybody sees you, and then, you know, making peace of everything that goes around with it. But you cannot use that as a label to garner sympathy and garner my attention into believing that yes, Jeremy is a good character, because he was for most part just a jerk. And Lucas, on the other hand, was at least decent enough, but he wasn't very well written in the sense that I would have been interested to root for him. And that is to say that I did not really care much about either of these two characters. And while I did finish the complete book, I mean, I did read the full thing, I wish I would have DNF'd it faster, because I kept hoping that something would kick in, and this, the fact that I would get to see some sort of change in the way it was told, or some sort of something that would help me change my opinion of this book. It just did not happen, and I was pleasantly disappointed by this. And that's just pretty much it. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, and that's to say that I absolutely did not like it. These were the 3 books that I read recently and I did not really enjoy. If you enjoyed these books by any chance, then do let me know down in the comment section below, because I would love to see some different opinions on these titles and see what others are thinking about these. So till then, bye and take care.